Egypt's beleaguered president Hosni Mubarak has appointed Omar Suleiman, the country's spy chief and the president's confidant, as the next vice president amidst controversies surrounding the former head of the country's intelligence service. Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak named a vice president on Saturday for the first time since coming to power nearly 30 years ago. It was a clear step towards setting up a successor in the midst of the biggest challenge ever to his rule from tens of thousands of anti-government protesters. Omar Suleiman was minister without portfolio and director of the Egyptian General Intelligence Directorate from 1993 to 2011. In that capacity, he was the CIA's point man in Egypt, responsible for the agency's rendition program in the country, in which suspects were snatched from around the world and returned to Egypt for interrogation, often using torture. As Egypt's intelligence chief, Suleiman was in charge of the country's most important political security files and was the mastermind behind the fragmentation of Islamist groups who led the uprising against the state in the 1990s.
Lines on Al Jazeera. Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has repeated his determination to stay on as president. He said he would delegate responsibility to Vice President Omar Suleiman, and on the country's emergency laws, he said they would be lifted when the time is right.
I announced in very plain, unequivocal words that I will not run the coming presidential elections, satisfied with what I have offered to the nations for over 60 years in the time of war and peace. I announced that I will adhere to this position, and I also announced that I will similarly remain adamant to continue to shoulder my responsibility, protecting the Constitution, safeguarding the interests of the people until the authority and power is handed over to be elected by the people in September coming in the fair and free elections, where all the guarantees for transparency and integrity will be secured. This is the oath I have taken before God and before the nation.
For the crowds gathered on Liberation Square, jubilation quickly turned to anger. During the speech, protesters began shouting for the Egyptian president to leave and began waving shoes in the air. It had been widely anticipated that Hosni Mubarak would stand down.
Came from Vice President Omar Suleiman on state television.
أيها المواطنون في هذه الظروف العصيبة.
In these difficult circumstances that the country is passing through, President Mohammed Hosni Mubarak has decided to step down from his post as President of the Republic
تخليه عن منصب رئيس الجمهورية
and has empowered the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces to manage the affairs of the country.
المسلحة.
He ended the statement with the words, "May God help everyone."